Jung, Interpretation of Nature. And Psyche.
Okay, so have you ever been thinking about someone you haven't seen in years? Like you haven't even thought about them in ages.
No, that's all the time.
Right. And then suddenly, boom, they call you out of the blue.
Oh, yeah. Or you keep seeing the same person over and over again.
Yes.
Right,
Like
yeah.
multiple times in a week in totally random places.
Definitely.
So coincidence? Maybe. But what if it's something more? What if those little moments are actually, I don't know, trying to tell us something?
Okay, I like where you're going with this.
That's what we're diving into today, the wild world of synchronicity.
Love it. Let's do it.
We're cracking open the work of Carl Jung, specifically synchronicity and a causal connecting principle.
Classic.
Now, his ideas, they might seem a little out there, a little woo at first, but trust me, this is a journey you don't want to miss.
Already.
So what exactly is synchronicity? It's those moments where the impossible seems to happen, where coincidences feel undeniably meaningful.
Yeah.
But it's more than just, whoa, that's weird. It gets at the heart of how we understand reality itself.
Exactly. And, it's so fascinating because even Jung, this super well-respected psychiatrist, steeped in the world of cause and effect.
Right.
He started as a skeptic.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He was trying to, map the human mind,
Really?
looking for the logical reasons behind our thoughts and behaviors.
Of course, yeah.
But then he had this experience. It just shook him to his core.
Okay, hit me with it.
So he's with a patient, right? And the patient is recounting a dream about a golden scarab beetle. A pretty unusual image. And at that exact moment,
No way.
a real live scarab beetle flies into the window of his office.
Get out.
I know. And we're talking about a species rarely found in that part of Europe.
Wow.
This wasn't just any coincidence. It was a turning point that made Jung question, well, everything he thought he knew. Just like that phone call from your old friend, it makes you wonder, is there something more going on here?
100%.
Right.
Yeah. So Jung's mind is officially blown. Where does he even begin to unpack this?
Well, he dives into this concept of archetypes.
Archetypes.
These are these universal patterns, these images that exist in our collective unconscious.
Of her collective unconscious.
Exactly. Think about it. Why do so many cultures, totally separated by time and distance, have myths and symbols that are strikingly similar?
Oh, like the hero's journey.
Yes.
Or the symbol of the snake, like representing transformation, both in ancient Egypt and indigenous cultures in the Americas.
Exactly. Jung believed these weren't just coincidences. It suggested a deeper layer of interconnectedness, a shared reservoir of human experience that we're all, tapping into. And maybe, just maybe, synchronicity is how this deeper layer reveals itself
Okay.
in our lives.
All right. Buckle up, because to test this theory, Jung got seriously creative. He decided to dive into the world of astrology.
Astrology. I know. Now, before you write this off as some mystical mumbo-jumbo, remember, Jung was a scientist at heart. He wasn't interested in proving or disproving astrology itself. He was interested in patterns, in finding a way to quantify these seemingly impossible coincidences.
So he's using astrology as a lens to examine this bigger idea of synchronicity.
Precisely. And the way he did it was surprisingly rigorous. He analyzed hundreds of marriage charts, looking for specific astrological alignments that are traditionally considered significant in relationships. Think of it like this giant data set just waiting to be deciphered.
Okay, so we've got Jung, our scientist-turned-synchronicity explorer, hunkered down with a mountain of astrological charts. What's he looking for in all this data?
He's looking for those aha moments.
Yeah.
Those patterns that they defy statistical probability. And he found one that was particularly intriguing. It was a recurring alignment between the sun and moon in the birth charts of married couples.
Hold on, back up a sec. For those of us who haven't exactly memorized our birth charts, can you break this down?
Of course. So in astrology, the position of the sun at the time of your birth, it represents your core identity.
Yep.
Well, the moon, that represents your emotional nature.
Got it.
So what Jung found was that couples were significantly more likely to have been born under a similar alignment of the sun and moon than, just random pairings.
So it's like finding out that people born under the sign of, I don't know, Pisces are statistically more likely to marry other Pisces.
You got it. You're getting it. But here's the thing. Here's the kicker. The probability of this happening, just by pure chance, astronomically small. We're talking like a 1 in 1,000, even a 1 in 10,000 chance.
Wow.
Right? This wasn't just some random, cosmic dice roll. It suggested a potential connection there, a pattern that lined up with those traditional astrological interpretations of compatibility.
Okay. My mind is officially doing backflips right now. So does this mean our love lives are like written in the stars? Should we all be rushing out to find partners with compatible sun-moon alignments?
Whoa, 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 hold your horses. It's so tempting to jump to conclusions, but, correlation doesn't equal causation.
Yeah.
Just because there's a pattern, it doesn't mean it's some mystical force out there dictating our relationships.
Right. Totally. So what else could be at play here then?
Well, Jung, ever the scientist, he considered that. Maybe unconscious bias could have, skewed the results.
Interesting.
Like the astrologers who collected the data, maybe even subconsciously, right? They might have been drawn to couples whose charts just happened to confirm what they already believed about, astrological compatibility.
That's a really good point. Like if you're convinced that, I don't know, let's say redheads can't be trusted.
Yeah.
You're probably going to notice every little negative thing a redhead does, and you're going to just totally ignore all the good stuff.
Precisely. It highlights how much our beliefs can shape our perceptions, even in these seemingly objective fields like data analysis. But, and here's where things get really wild, Jung started to wonder if this very act of seeking patterns, especially with like a really strong belief, might actually be connected to synchronicity itself.
Wait, hold on. Are we saying that our beliefs could actually be like influencing reality, that we're somehow creating these synchronicities by looking for them?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
So we're talking about more than just like spooky coincidences, right? We're talking about a whole different way of understanding reality, like one where our minds aren't just passively observing.
Yes. It's like we're all part of this giant interconnected web. And those synchronicities, those seemingly impossible moments of connection,
Right.
they're like these little flashes of insight into how it's woven together.
Okay, so how do we start like tuning into those flashes? Do we have to become astrologers? Do we have to go meditate on a mountaintop? What do we have to do?
It doesn't have to be that complicated. It starts with simply paying attention.
Yeah.
Just being open to the possibility that there's more to life than meets the eye.
So instead of just brushing off those weird coincidences, we should be like paying attention to them, trying to understand what they might mean. But how do we know? What if we're just seeing patterns that aren't really there? I mean, our brains are kind of hardwired to find patterns, right?
Absolutely. And that's where, discernment comes in. Not every coincidence is this profound, like life-altering synchronicity.
Right.
But when something really makes you stop and say, whoa, what are the chances?
Yes.
That's worth exploring.
So trust your gut. If it feels significant, it probably is.
There's definitely something to be said for intuition. But, remember, Jung was also a really firm believer in the power of the unconscious to reveal itself through symbols, through archetypes.
Right.
So paying attention to those recurring patterns in your life, in your dreams, in your relationships, that can also offer clues.
It's like those recurring dreams we were talking about earlier. What if those aren't just our subconscious, like working through stuff? What if they're actual messages trying to get through?
That's the beauty of synchronicity.
Yeah.
It invites us to question our assumptions, to consider multiple interpretations. It's less about finding like definitive answers and more about expanding your awareness, recognizing the interconnectedness of, everything.
Okay, but how do we know if we're on the right track with this? What if we're just like driving ourselves crazy looking for like meaning in every little thing?
Well, Jung believed that true synchronicities are often accompanied by this sense of numinous, a feeling of awe, profound meaning, even a touch of fear, right?
Yeah.
It's that feeling you were describing earlier when you said, this is exhilarating and terrifying.
Hey, I'm getting chills just thinking about it. So it's not just about noticing the patterns, but it's about paying attention to how they make us feel.
Precisely. It's that feeling that sets synchronicity apart from just mere coincidence. That sense that you've stumbled onto something bigger than yourself. And that's what makes it so compelling, so potentially transformative. It challenges our understanding of who we are, the nature of the reality we inhabit.
Jung himself really wrestled with how to articulate the power and the mystery of synchronicity. He even admitted, it defies easy explanation. But he left us with a question, and I think this perfectly captures the heart of this whole concept. He asked, if our minds can unconsciously know things beyond our normal perception, what does this suggest about the true nature of consciousness?
It's a question that can send you down a rabbit hole of possibility.
Oh, for sure.
Right. Are we more than just our physical bodies, our conscious thoughts? Are we all connected in ways we don't yet fully understand?
It's a lot to wrap your head around, that's for sure. But it also makes you realize how much we just don't know, how much there still is to explore.
And that's the beauty of it, isn't it? Synchronicity. It reminds us that the universe is full of mystery, full of wonder, full of possibilities. It's an invitation to keep exploring, keep questioning, and to keep an open mind.
So as you go about your day, keep an eye out for those meaningful coincidences. Don't just dismiss them as mere chance. Instead, just ask yourself, what if there's something more to this? What if the universe is trying to tell me something? And maybe, just maybe, if you listen closely enough, you'll start to hear those whispers of a deeper order, like a symphony of interconnectedness playing out all around you. And that's a wrap on our deep dive into synchronicity. We hope you enjoyed this mind-bending exploration of the world of meaningful coincidences. Until next time, keep questioning, keep exploring, and keep an open mind.